said the Bible has truth. Are you going to
There's
read it?
truth in other religions as well. The Bible, like other religions, has no authority over anyone.
Mm.
But listen,
Oh,
all good.
no, keep that up real quick so people know what we're referring to. Keep that
Okay.
up real quick. You want to go on this first or me?
Yes, I mean, one of the things that I want is Hinduism. I'm sorry, and then here we go. One more. Hinduism knew about Jesus Christ coming before he walked on the earth. Let me explain something to you.
Where
All
do you think they
good,
got that from?
right? Everything has an origin, and I think that you don't really understand the origin of majority of religions in general. But also, away from that, tell me about the leaders of other religions and show me their credibility, because the last time I checked, the only person who is not in their tomb is Jesus Christ. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only person who I have seen rise, the only person who speaks about a resurrection, the only person who guarantees you a certain salvation in the afterlife, the only person that gives you true guidance in this world, the only person who hasn't been discredited, who hasn't been corrupted, who you can't find flaws and contradictions in the doctrine, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you try to twist it and try to discredit it, no one has. No one truly has. If you look at any type of atheist argument about the Bible, they have more flaws than their contradictions in their belief system than the Bible ever could. And that's because the human mind is flawed. The human mind is perverted, and not only perverted, it's imperfect. And so as you go into this journey and you try to figure out, not speaking to all good, this is just my last perspective. Anyone who has this perspective, you have to really ask yourself what I stated earlier. We don't stand for anything. So you want to be accessible to everything. You want to say all of it. In the Bible has truth, and there's truth in other religions as well. Fine. That's fine. But there's only
Well,
one source of truth.
the
So
reason,
anything
yeah,
that derives from the Bible is going to be true. Anything that is replicated from the Bible is going to be true. That's all
yeah,
it
and
is.
also people have to understand. Let's do a little history real quick. You have to understand. I'm replying to all good here. You have to understand the Bible itself is just the completion of what we see, right? So the Bible back then wasn't called the Bible, right? It was still being written. And the reason why people believe that other religion has truth as well is because they take what they want, just like we do today in the modern world. They take from the Bible and they take from the Old Testament and they take from the New Testament, they take from the Torah and they take what they like and then implement it into their own doctrine. Do you know why they implement it into their own doctrine? Because it's something that can hold the test of time. It stands the test of time. And the reason why religions like Hinduism can take stuff from the Bible, take stuff from Jesus, because no matter what you try to do, you cannot break it. You can't shake it. So, of course, some of the things that they do, for example, I'll give you an example. Hitler took some stuff from the Bible, but it does not mean that Hitler was the truth. So just because a religion says that they're the truth and they take some stuff from the Bible does not mean it's true. So to really understand this, you have to look at where does their doctrine come from? What, and then you want to do some tests. Look at Jesus, right? Our authority, look at Jesus, and then look at Krishna, for example, in Hinduism, right? Krishna in Hinduism says karma. So if you are a better human being, then you will have a better afterlife, right? So what you're telling me is in Hinduism, you have to try your hardest to be as good as you can to get the best life you can. And if you fail and you fall short as a human being and as a human being will, then that sucks for you. Your karma is coming to you. I don't want to follow a God like that. Do you know why Jesus is so unique and why people reject him and they want to crucify him? Because he is the only one, he's the only religion, he's the only person that claimed no matter how good you are, no matter how bad you are, it does not matter. The only thing that matters is the truth, and the truth is I want you to love the true God with all your heart and love your neighbor with all your heart. You keep these commandments and believing in me, and you will have eternal life. This is what Jesus promises. He promises, believe in him, love God, and love your neighbor, and you will get to heaven, even if you slip up, even if you mess up, even if you're the best of the best or the worst of the worst. Do these three things, and you will have eternal life. Versus another religion says, the only way you get to heaven is if you prove to be the best person that you can be. But if you fall short, sorry, buddy. That doesn't sound good to me. That doesn't sound like a true, just God to me. That sounds like someone who picks and chooses. My God, my Jesus doesn't pick and choose. He
He's the
says,
only.
I came here to die for you, and
Mhm.
I will save anyone who believe I did that for them. If you believe I died for you, I will save you. Just believe that. I'm not even asking you to do the same thing. I'm not even asking you to go die. I'm saying I did it for you. Believe I did that for you. That's what he's asking.
He's the only. He is the only God, but he's the only God in comparison that will come down and humble himself. Every other God asks you to build yourself up to them, praise them,
Yep.
worship them, and without any understanding of their character and their process, and even in their thought process, like don't question. Jesus tells you question, seek, and I'll appeal to your questions, to your understanding, and what it is you want to discover within me.
Mm-hmm.
He's it's I just can't find a better balance in a God that is almighty, all powerful, all knowing, and yet so humble and loving and caring, and be able to balance that in the same like divinity that Jesus does,
He
you know?
said truth is truth. Truth is known by experience. I disagree. And I'll give you an example why I disagree. He's from New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
Shout out New Zealand. But I want to challenge this thought process, not because it's necessarily a bad thought process to have, because I see why you would say this. But the reason I disagree and why I challenge this is I'll give you an example of why truth is not just based off of experience, right? I'll give you a 3-year-old child, right? A 3-year-old child does not truly understand sin, does not truly understand good and bad and this and that. But that 3-year-old knows if they were to slap their little brother or slap their mom, something in their system knows that this was wrong. And this is why you see them not do it, even if they may have thought it. They never have to experience actually going through the process with it to actually know that this is true. Just like, you know, you don't have to go to jail to know that I don't want to go to jail. Do you have to go to jail and experience jail to know that the truth is you shouldn't go to jail?
No,
No.
no, we don't.
No.
Nope.
So truth, truth is truth because it stands the test of time. Truth is truth because it just is. I know that's kind of hard to truly comprehend and grasp, but truth is truth because it just is. It just is. You know, without a shadow of a doubt, if you were to harm your mother, even if you never have in your life, if you were to harm your mother, you know that this is wrong without having to experience going through harming your mother. You didn't have to harm your mother to know that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. No, you already know without the experience, this is wrong, because the truth is God already instilled that morality into you. Morality is truth. So you don't have to have experience to know something is true. But I understand why you're saying that. I just disagree because life has shown truth is embedded in morality, not in experience.
And I think that that's why our society is as psychotic as it is today, because when you start to go for truth off of experience, then you start to feel like I need to experience being a woman to know I'm a man, or vice
Yeah,
versa. I
or
need to
vice versa.
experience, the white lifestyle when I'm a black woman to know if they are really corrupt or not. I need to experience having money to know if I'm gonna actually be an evil person or if I'm gonna be rooted in good. Like, we have to experience things to be able to stand on it.
Yeah,
And that
which is
is
not true.
unnecessary.
Yep.
You don't need to do like Malik just listed so many examples, but even like I need to do drugs, or or a really good one is I need to have as much sex as I can and get it all out so that I can be married. And it's like, no, you don't need these experiences. God tells you you can learn two ways. You can learn from experience, or you can learn from instruction, which is
Exactly.
why the title of today's video is The Bible is the Authority. Because when you learn from instruction, you can avoid bad experiences. And it doesn't mean that
Exactly.
life doesn't happen. It just means that you don't have to go down these rabbit holes and hit rock bottom and say, oh, God, save me. When God says, we didn't even have to go through this. You didn't
Exactly.
even
I
have
already told you.
this trauma and all this. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And that's what we're missing. That's the whole reason why we're making this video, is because we're not reading the Bible and understanding the truths that are in it. We just people, I think honestly, you know what I think it is? Why people say that the Bible is not the authority. I think, and this is how I know that it's true actually. This is a big reason why I know that it's true. I really believe that people that say the Bible is not the authority, it's because they're afraid of the truth actually. They're afraid of the doctrine of the truth that's in the Bible. It scares them because the truth says X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. You're like, oh, I just did this yesterday. And
Yeah.
then you start feeling
The
convicted, right?
conviction.
But
Mhm.
this is actually for people who are listening, this is actually the first step. When you first read it and you feel like what, then you need to keep reading, because you just got this much closer to God by doing that. By getting that conviction, and you
Yeah.
feel like, why is the Bible? If you feel if you feel like a book is judging you, this is how you know it's true. I promise you, if you go read a Buddhist book or a Hindu book, you're not gonna feel convicted reading it, because it's not truth. It's not truth. The reason why people reject the Bible so much and they're afraid of the Bible is because it's true. When you read the Bible, it convicts you. You get nervous. You feel like, why is this book judging me? And this is how you know that it's the word of God, truly. And it's the authority of God, truly, because you're getting offended by something that you say is just a book. You're like, this is just a book. Then why are you offended what that book just told you in that verse? Why are you offended by what that book just told you in that passage? Why? Why are you offended? Because it's truth in it.
I mean, it's the
It's
same
your
way
whole
people
life.
start. It's the same way people start screaming when you say something about them or you try to correct them. It's like, you're judging me. You're judging me.
Yeah,
Listen, you
exactly.
would not be getting that mad. You would not be getting that mad. Like if
Yeah,
someone
if
came
it
to me
wasn't
and
true,
told me like, you a dirty blank, 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 and you just,
you'd be like,
I mean, it's not true. So I mean, I really do believe the whole. I understand disrespect, but I really do believe that you don't internalize things that are not true. You reject them. I'm not going to
exactly,
digest something rejected because it has nothing to do with me. It's like I hate you, you blank, blank, blank. All right. I
exactly.
mean, what to do?
Exactly. It's like someone coming up to me right now and say, "Hey, you stole my $200," and then I get mad like, "I didn't steal it." I'm not gonna get mad because I didn't steal your $200. I'm just look at you and say, "I didn't steal your $200. What are you talking about?" But if you get mad that I said, "Why'd you steal my $200?" and you get offended and you start getting defensive, then I know you stole something from me. You know what I mean? So why are you getting angry about something that you don't believe is true?
I thought the Bible is true because God is the author. That's a very big attribute of why the Bible is true. That's the number one attribute of why the Bible is true. But there's
Ye-
also surrounding context around the truth. You have to
Yeah,
understand context. And as human beings, I don't think that we relate to things without full understanding. So just like for me, I'll just use myself for an example. If someone comes to me to Shay today with my belief system and say the Bible is true because God is the author, I will say, okay, and I would take it for what it is because I understand the context of Jesus Christ. But when you're talking to people who don't believe and they say, well, just believe this because God is the author, if they don't ask you no questions, you're gonna have to look at them like,
yeah, and,
are you all
that's
there?
that, and that's me, right? And this is why I know Jesus is the truth, is because Jesus tells you what he says: love God with your heart, soul, and mind. And
Right?
that and mind is the part that we missed. He's not saying and mind because he just wants you to say, well, because I'm the truth, That's just it, right? No, Jesus is saying love God and your mind, because he's saying, I want you to actually seek. If you have questions, ask. If you have wonders, seek. If you want to figure something out, go look for it. I don't want you to just love me just because I said so. I don't want you to just love me because I said I am who I am. I want you to know that I am the real truth. So I want you to question everything. And I promise you, everything that you're questioning is going to be in my word. This is the reason why I love Jesus so much, is because he's not just saying believe in the Bible because I told you I wrote it. He's not just saying believe in the Bible because God the Father is the author. He's not telling you to do that. That's okay if you say, hey, I believe in the Bible because God is the author and he said so, right? That is okay. But Jesus is saying it's also okay if you say, God, are you really the author? Show me that you're really the author. You know why he's not afraid of this question? Because he can answer it. If you question and say, God is not really the author of the Bible, if you really are the author of this Bible, show me. Give me an answer. Show me that you really are the author of this Bible. And I promise you, you're going to get an answer, because God is not afraid of truth. He's not afraid of being questioned, because he's not a God that cowers down. He's not a God that hides, because he's a true God. And only a true God can say, love me also with your mind, because he's not afraid of your intellectual questions, because he can answer them. Only a good God can do this. Only a just God can do this. A God who's like, I only want to help you if something good is happening. That's a false God, because that means he can only control life when things are going good. What happens when life is going bad? I trust this God. I trust a God who can handle things when they're going good and handle things when they're going bad. I don't trust a God who says, "Oh, don't question me," right? Like Islam. Islam say, "Don't question the Quran," right? I don't trust that God. You know why? Because what if I have questions? That means you're afraid of my questioning. And an all-powerful, all-knowing God is not afraid. That's why my Jesus is the best and my Jesus is the truth, because he's telling you your questions I'm not afraid of, because yes,
Let me
I
tell
am the
you. Let me tell you something, baby. Let me tell you who it do hurt. Let me tell you who it do hurt. Timothy. Timothy, you hurting over there,
he
boy.
feeling it is he
That,
feeling it
that,
right
that,
now.
that, that's that's stinging. That conviction sting. But
Yeah.
let me tell you something, Tim. You're here
Stop preaching.
listening because you're curious and
Oh,
because you seek. But God gives you free will. And you know what you did with your free will? You typed this
click
for
this
what?
button.
For
Yeah,
what? For what?
he clicked the button.
Because you want to be seen, because you want to be heard, because you want to feel valued. That's why you don't have a picture, right? Because you want to feel valued. And it's okay. That's okay.
The
But
real
I'll just
question
tell
is,
you.
yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say the real question is, honestly, why do you think it's BS, Timothy? Timothy Williams, why do you believe it's BS? That's my question to you. Don't just come in here saying this is BS. Tell me, why do you believe this is BS? That's what I want to know. I want to
But
know
guess
why
what?
people like him believe this. And a lot of times what I find out, the reason people say stuff like what he's saying, 9 times out of 10, is because they don't know. They got church hurt, or they say, well, the Bible's corrupted. Have you
Well,
even looked into it?
well, Malik, just take it away from the Bible, though. Think about the person who sits behind a computer and goes onto someone's live and types, "Stop reading." You're not mentally there. So you can't really ask a person to conceive the Bible and to conceive the complexity of Jesus Christ and all of those things when they can't even present a logical reason why they're saying the things they're saying. He's just typing. But Pedro is giving you a really good consensus, Timothy. I think the best argument is the laws of logic, which point to the universe being created from a rational mind instead of random actions. The Bible is the most logical religion. Mr.
Exactly.
Rodriguez, we're gonna give you a round of applause tonight. Because through comparison of illogical, irrational people, because one of the points that I was gonna bring up, and this is on the back of Timothy, is the Bible is the blueprint for
Look,
human behavior in society.
he
Yeah.
said the word hurts people.
And I'll tell you, but this is what I wanted to say. The blueprint for human behavior in society. The Bible outlines cause and effect patterns and still governs modern society. So, concepts like greed leading to collapse and pride leading to destruction and humility leading to growth is what you see when you see people so disrupted in their spirit by the word. And
Yeah.
it's not because me and Malik are pastors or we're asking for tithes over here or we're over here trying to baptize you. It's just because the word of God coming out of people's mouth, the admiration for Jesus Christ stirs up a roar in people's spirit. And you see that and you understand it's true. Because if something is not true, there's no reason for it. There's no reason for conviction or anger. Because what does our belief systems have to do with anyone else? If I sat on a public platform and talked about me wanting to be a man, people would say, that's your right. That's what you can do. You can go and you can do what you want and you can be able to express yourself as you want. And you should be able, because everything is accepted. But if you start talking about Christ, if you start talking about God, if you start talking about the truth, then it's a whole.
It's be quiet. It's be quiet.
Yeah.
Be quiet. I want to read this really quick. It said, everyone is different. Everyone has their own level of understanding. New Zealand is a beautiful country. You should check out this place. Put it in your bucket list. I actually did see. I've seen New Zealand. I've seen a lot of stuff in New Zealand. I actually wouldn't mind visiting New Zealand. I want to go skiing and snowboarding there. When that's what we need to do. We need to go to New Zealand and snowboard there. They got a lot of nice places you can go snowboarding and skiing out there. They got good snow. They actually got waters and where you can see through it. Unlike the places out here in Texas, you can actually see through their water. But this is
Appreciate
the
you
thing.
all for
This is the
the
thing is the reason why we're saying fine, go seek who Jesus is. Don't even just take my word for it or my wife's word for it, right? Go seek Jesus for yourself and actually just look into his character, right? And the reason why we're so heavy on people knowing the name Jesus is because he's the only one that people mock. You understand what I'm saying? You never hear people mock Muhammad. You never hear people mock Krishna from Hinduism. You never hear people mock Buddha from Buddhism. Why is it that everyone across the world only mocks Jesus, or they're afraid of Jesus, or they say Jesus is not this or Jesus is not that?
Christians
He's
are
the only
crazy.
one. If I say Krishna, half of you probably don't even know who that is. You're like, Krishna, who is that? Is that your sister? No, that is who the god of Hinduism is, right? That's who their staple or their face of Hinduism is Krishna. And half of them are like, who's Krishna? Exactly, because people don't mock Krishna. You know why? Because Krishna was never even a real person. Jesus was a real human being who actually walked with us. And people, I think it's hard for them to grasp the concept of Jesus because he was in human form, but he's also God. And you have to understand the reason why this is important. And the reason that this is important, and my wife touched on it yesterday, is because you wouldn't actually resonate with someone who didn't understand your struggle, right? You'll be like, we always get mad at God and be like, God, you don't understand what we're going through on this earth. Why don't you just help us? Take us out of here. We want to come with you. Jesus comes down, right, as half man and God at the same time, right? He's saying, I'm here with you. I understand your struggle. I see what y'all see. I feel what y'all feel. I can laugh with y'all. I can weep with y'all. I understand y'all have death. I understand all these things. And because I see that, I'm going to heal you, die for your sins, resurrect to show you that this world is not the end. So he's so powerful because he resonates with the people. Even if you don't believe in him, he resonates with the people because he was a human. And you have to understand the reason that this is important is because he had to show you that I can humble myself even as God to be a human just so y'all can connect with me. Because if I came back as a lizard, or if I came back as a huge god man, or if I came back as a shark or any of these things, you'd be like, this doesn't really resonate. I came back as you. I came back so you could look me in the eye and say, this is a man. He gets it. But he's doing stuff that I can't fathom. This is not only grace and mercy, this is also humility. He's doing all these things at once: humility, grace, mercy, and miracles. This is why the word Jesus, the name Jesus, convicts people, because he embodied everything that we're trying to figure out as humans. You don't see Krishna doing that. You don't see Buddha doing that. You don't see Muhammad doing that. None of these people. This is why it's not the truth. It's not.
Yeah, that was my next point. The Bible exposes spiritual autonomy of evil, right?
Yeah.
We
Yep.
the Bible doesn't treat evil as a social or mental issue. It
Yeah.
treats evil as a heart posture thing. So when we're relating Jesus as a human being and his character and his heart posture, I think there's a lot of envy and a lot of misunderstanding as to what he came here to do and what it means to next another stream, man. We'll do another stream. But what it because we're gonna go on and on. But what he came here to do and what he truly embodies and express and wants us to express within ourselves. And I think that that is the conviction. It's the conviction to want you to be better, because the Bible doesn't tell you to do anything corrupt. It doesn't tell you to do anything evil. Like Malik described it in another stream, the Bible is prescriptive and descriptive. And the
Mhm.
prescriptive manners in the Bible never tell you to do anything evil, anything that is self-destructive, anything that's harmful to oneself. So you would think with logic that you would have a self-preservating mind to help you to say, I'm going to follow this doctrine because it is in my best interest. But undoubtedly, we say, it's trying to control me. It's trying to control my free will. It's trying to control the things that I want to do. But then we don't really look at ourselves and say, why do I want to do things when these things that it's telling me to do are good? So what are the things that I want to do? If they're not
Exactly.
good, then what are they? And
Exactly.
so till this day, we're struggling with conviction in our spirit, a battle of spirit to flesh, a battle of good to evil. Spirituality in general is under warfare more now than ever. As y'all can see, there's thousands and thousands, I think like 52,000 people in Nigeria who are crucified. I mean, I'm sorry, who are martyred for their belief system in
Mhm.
Christianity. And so that's a big deal. That's a
Yep.
really big deal. And so, yes, it's relevant. Yes, it's the authority because people are willing to lose their life for it.
Yep. And just quick response to this. A quick response to this is this stuff with the online IDs in the UK is demonic. They're trying to they're trying to control those people over there. So just to get that out there, that stuff is highly, highly, highly demonic and should be called out. So we don't agree with that stuff at all. We will actually make a video about it actually. Probably tomorrow or in 2 days, make a video about that. But we don't agree with that stuff at all. And then all good just said, I have no doubt that Jesus Christ is a historical figure, but what would Jesus Christ say at a UN General Assembly speech about thousands of dead and injured innocent Palestinian people in 2025? So the first thing I'm gonna say to answer this is I'm not Jesus, so I don't know what he would say. I'll just say humbly, I do not know what he would say, but I can say this because being a follower of Christ, I can say
Yes,
that based off of his character showed you that he came when he came, he didn't come in a time where everything was just peaceful and all good. He came in a time where the religious leaders, you had the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were taking advantage of the people of the cities, all these things, right? Jesus came to bark at the religious leaders. He came to bark at the Roman Empire. He came to test and put his head first at the people who were in power. So Jesus has never, ever, ever, ever been afraid of the people who have authority or the people who have power, because he knows he is the power. Which is why when he went to his crucifixion, the Roman governor Pontius Pilate, he said, "If you just say you're not God, we'll spare you. You won't have to get crucified." And Jesus said, "My kingdom is not even of this world. My kingdom is beyond this world." So Jesus, I can say this, in 2025, Jesus would also, if he was here, he would also get in front of those people in Israel and tell them that they're wrong, because he did it back then. He was in Jerusalem, in Israel, and he was going at these religious leaders, telling these religious leaders, You are not who you think you are. You are not following the law of Moses. You are not following the law of God. You're not doing any of these things. So Jesus would not agree with these things. But I could tell you this, and on a good note, those children that are innocently dying and those people who are innocently dying in Palestine, I promise you, they in heaven with Jesus. So you don't have to worry about them. They are in heaven with Jesus. I can tell you that.
Prove it. You came here to talk. You're lost. Oh, here we go. You're lost in the sauce, buddy. Well, prove it.
That's you.
Don't come in here. Wait. Don't come in here talking about your opinion